Welcome to Inside the Franchise Growth Engine, presented by Hex Growth. We focused on the systems, decisions, and operational discipline that actually drive scalable growth. Today's guest, which we're very excited about, is Sarwar Chowdhury, area manager for Dunkin in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. This conversation is about what it really takes to run a business day to day, not from a strategy standpoint, but from a perspective of someone responsible for keeping everything moving in the right direction. Because growth doesn't fail on paper, it fails or succeeds in execution. Sarwar, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Don, for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you, Sarwar. So to get us started, tell us a little bit about how you got started and what your day-to-day looks like. What's the first thing you assess to understand how the day-to-day is going to go?
I moved to Minnesota about 8 years ago. Before that, I used to live in Michigan. I worked for 7-Eleven. I worked for a different Dunkin franchise there. And then I came to Minnesota and I was lucky to get connected with this group. And I decided to use my previous knowledge and help this company grow. So when I started for Legacy, we had one store, first store we opened, and it was about a month old. Since then, we have opened 11 more in last 7.5 years. So I do have a calendar, and if nothing, any of the stores are not having any major issues, I like to follow that. Every restaurant I like to visit, everybody has their own issues, so work on those to get there. If nothing is out of ordinary, then I go on with my day. But if there is an issue, that gets higher priority and then go from there.
Sarwar, you mentioned legacy. Can you maybe describe the concept of legacy as it relates to Dunkin' Donuts?
Sure. So we are an independent franchise group. The name is Legacy Concepts, and we own Dunkin' franchise. So Dunkin' franchises is out. So we are one of the 4 franchisees in Minnesota in Twin Cities. So we are the West Group, and that's why our company is named Legacy Concepts.
Got it. And so you guys are an area manager in the Twin Cities, on the west side of Twin Cities. And how many total units do you guys own?
Right now we have 12, and we have, I believe, 9 more to open.
And then what's the plan on opening those? Like, what's the rollout plan for that?
In next 4 years, we have to finish all. So we are trying to get 2 on the books this year. We have 3 more for next year. And then some remodels because some of the stores are getting 10 years old. There needs a refresh. And then I think 2 and 1, that's how we have to finish. It's a 5-year, 12 stores we signed up on a second DMA.
And obviously in your role, things can shift quickly, as we know, when you have that much responsibility over so many stores, opening new stores, existing franchise stores, remodels. How do you maintain control when the operation starts to feel chaotic?
We take one at a time. Whichever the biggest fire or chaos is, we try to resolve it. And we try to look at the root cause of it, not something just happened accidentally. So based on those, we assess and we go from there. Typically, we always have an idea how much time it's going to consume in a brand new store. So we figure out our game plan once we are in that restaurant, how the other stores sometimes. I personally have some of my general managers come and help so that the visibility of us or the process are still intact while we are away, because typically it consumes 6 to 8 weeks of our full attention on a brand new store.
Oh, is that right? From like getting the space and then getting to open?
Getting to open, training, getting set up, and then after you open, the team is new, they are scared, they need to get used to all those. So it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for us to walk away from that store. Not walk away, but take some time off. So at that point, typically as we are growing, and even in my experience, I have a better plan nowadays and a strategy, and I've learned how it went in the past. We got consumed in a store and the other 2 or 3 are falling apart. So as soon as you get out, you have 3 more to fix. So we figured out that it should not be ask help, have different strategies, that I should be able to leave and go make sure that every store are still staying on their process. We have created some tools for us, even for me, like as an area manager. So the how the labor and food is running, they have to report it to us every day. So instead of me looking through 12, 11 units, they are sending it to me. So it's a quick check on an email, and I know they are on the right track.
How much of your job would you say is managing the team's energy versus, specific tasks that need to be done?
In my personal opinion, the team takes more time. If your team is happy, if because they have to help you. You or me as a person cannot run a restaurant or cannot run a business. So making the team, getting a culture ready, they feel they are valued. That's 80% of my job, I think, as of today. Because if the team is happy, we are treating them correctly, they will treat the guest correctly. So then rest of it is busy. When they're happy, they'll learn the new products, they'll learn the new system, they'll keep up going. But if they're not happy, it's not great. So in my 20 years of this area expertise in the past, it's a lot more my work and 20% of people managing, but it's a lot of 80%. You manage the people, you keep them happy, you give them a lot of whys. Why is this happening? Why you have to do this? And that makes a lot easier.
Getting results through oneself is a lot easier than getting results through other people. So I totally understand what you're saying.
And then when somebody is happy, they will put their 100%
Yes.
for you to do
Yes.
it. And a lot of times, the generation we work with nowadays, they want to know whys. In the past, you tell them, it will be done. So these are differences that I even have to change and learn to do these pieces differently.
To talk about that a little bit. Talk about that in terms of generation. I think it's an interesting point you bring, because Monica and I are also in franchising, and I'm born in the mid '70s. So I think when you're referring to someone that if you just say do it, I'm probably one of those people that if in the past when you tell me to do it, I just do it. Versus some of our younger employees in my franchise concept, you do have to explain the why. Maybe just talk about that a little bit more, if you don't mind.
I've worked with both eras, to be honest, and I am from a generation where I was told something, I would do it. There is no question asked. I don't need to know why. I will just do it. I was told, it's done. Uh, I, in my opinion, I believe the work ethic has changed a lot, and people are more curious nowadays. So you have to give them. It's no longer okay. We do it this way. No, why do we do it? So they have to understand. I would say sometimes curiosity, because the newer generation wants to know more. They have more available of resources to figure out. Example, if my boss 15 years ago tells me this is how you do it,
Mm-hmm.
there is no way for me to do
Mm-hmm.
anything. Right now, I can Google, I can chat GPT, I can do all those, and I can tell my boss, no, this is not the only way. There are multiple ways to do it. So those are the things. As technology is helping our generation to know more, I believe that's why they also want to know why I am doing this. So that's the difference, in huge difference, I would say.
So when you think about maybe this younger generation and having, more access to information in real time, to know that there's maybe multiple ways of doing things, how do you coach and correct behavior in real time without slowing things down in this sort of new environment?
Sometimes you have to say, this is the standard, you have to do it this way. This is what requires. I understand. Like every problem can be solved in several ways, but a Dunkin franchise has created a way to get you there. So because they have spent enough money, resources, training, and doing all this experiment, it's the best way to keep everything structured. So let's just follow it. I understand things can be done differently. There are some ways we are open to change things, but there are certain things has to be done the way it's written, kind of, to be honest. That's what it took me time to figure out, that if I want to move this generation faster, I have to give them why right away and get going. And that's why I can get results same way at the same time.
And knowing that you have this responsibility for the performance side of things, and knowing how you have to talk to these general managers of these different locations, what makes, or how do you teach them that way they act like an owner and not just, an employee, and actually treat it like their own?
It's everybody is very different, right? Some people understands through numbers, some people understands through emotions, some people understands through the numbers when they're in front of their face. So those, it's a very, for me, I have 11 managers, they're all different. If I have to teach somebody one thing, I have to figure out very different based on their personalities, because same thing, I have some managers, if I tell them, they will not ask me a questions, they will do it. Somebody there, I have to spend time, show them. I have I would say, it's a great thing or a bad thing. I have ran every restaurant in the company as a general manager. Either there was none, we had it. So anytime this is a kind of good thing for me when I tell the general managers, hey, this is possible because I have already shown them, because I've ran one of their restaurants in sometime in last 7 years. So for me, I have built that relationship with them. They kind of believe when I say it's possible, let's get there. So that's how I work with my team. And it is very different. We get there together, but it's very different ways.
It's great to show that you've done the work, right? Because now you have instant credibility. Like, I'm not asking you to do something I haven't already done at a very high
Yes.
level, right? So,
Yes.
so how, Sarwar, how do you hold that high standard without burning the team out, right? Because part of your job, right, is to hold a high standard. Like, I'll give you the why, but sometimes it's just that we have to do it the way that Dunkin is telling us to do it, because obviously they know, like, we're holding a high standard. How do you do that without burning the team out?
Sometimes you have to get to the closest. If I am seeing that I'm burning my team too much, then let's find a root cause. What's happening? Why I can't get my team to go to my standards? My stores are not perfect. It's not up to the standards. I'm working every day to get them there. So it's the same thing, finding the root cause. Is the team coachable? They already have their ways in set. So then we have to make a plan differently. How either, unfortunately, if they are not coachable anymore, then I have to figure out a different way to build a different team to get them there. So try my best with the managers. Let's find a root cause. Let's get the team to get there. And nowadays, it's all about if they're happy, they're enjoying the time, they have all those, they will help you to get there. Staffing is a problem. It's hard in Minnesota. So, yes, the team gets tense sometimes. So, at that point, we try to do parties, we try to offer lunches to keep them happy. So, try not to burn, because our team is the core of my business, my turnover, everything. So I personally try not to burn them as much as possible, also trying to keep that momentum alive so that we can get to the standard where we need to go.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Because yeah, if you take care of your team, as you know, they'll take care of the customers. So
Yes, and especially recently in the month of January, we have a lot of ups and downs due to ice and all those. So we have, as a group, we took care of them. We tried to provide as much as support while they weren't working because they were scared. And guess what? These people are helping me even when whatever I need right now. They understand what we have done. So now they're working and they're happy because they feel valued when they were going through. So as a legacy, I am very happy to say that we tried our best to help them out while they were going through that tough times.
that's awesome. And when making because I know you need to make decisions quickly at most times. How do you make fast decisions without overthinking it, especially when you don't have to have that perfect information?
You think through it, you make the decision faster. Sometimes it's not right, sometimes it's wrong. So, and then we tweak as we go and see if we can make it better. And as I am very lucky to say, some of the decisions my bosses has given me that I can take it. And yes, I was wrong, I was right, but they have given me the power to make these decisions faster because they believe that I will try my hardest to make a better decision for the business.
What habits and routines, Sarwar, do you feel has helped you stay consistent as a leader?
I think being connected with the people, because I've tried to stay connected with my managers to know what's going on in their life, also at the same time, what's going on in the business. And at the same time, building calendars, staying true to those things that kept me going as a structure wise.
Talk about your GM, because I'm also in a retail franchise business.
Okay.
And at least in my retail franchise business, I know my general manager is the difference between a lot of my direct involvement versus just some oversight and maybe helping fix some problems here and there. You know, what time do you guys spend together with your managers of each shop?
I like to visit once a week, at least at their shop. And then every month I do one-on-one. So they come to our office, we sit down, and it's uninterrupted an hour. We talk about the topics. And if they have issues, they talk to me and we try to set goals and we work towards it. I do have managers who takes a very little supervision. They need few here and there and they're good. I have some in the system, they are very new, so they need more attention. So those one-on-ones kind of helps us a lot to figure out who needs a lot of attention or who needs a lot more support. So based on that, I try to fill my calendar. Like I need to visit this person a couple times or once. So those are the ways. So typically who are, and there are some managers, they don't want to see me, to be honest, because in their mind, if the boss is not coming to my store, that means I'm doing everything right. So those are the ways. It's all how they provide all the informations at one-on-one, because when you go to the store, they're busy, we are busy, we are running each other, we might forget some key topics. So that's why those one-on-ones every month helps a lot.
And do you have a defined set of KPIs you're reviewing with them during those one-on-ones?
Yes, we do make a budget in the beginning of the year. And then every time the P&L comes out, we see what we are doing and how to improve and go from there. Yes. Because how we work is our franchise is owned by the investors, so they just invest. So we make a budget in the beginning of the year and then we go through those every 1 month period, so how they are going based on the budgets we created.
And generally speaking, this is kind of amongst all markets, right? Not just yours.
Mhm.
And what do you think that average teams miss that some of the stronger teams like yours consistently get right throughout this whole process?
I would say inventory process, how they count the inventory, end of the week, how we are looking into it. Because I have asked some questions that I haven't got answers for. And because I have worked in a different market in the past, I know how they used to do it and how most of the people are using those systems. In that category, I would say we are very structured.
No, that makes sense because yeah, that can affect your revenues if you order. Timing is big in inventory, from my understanding. Correct?
Yes, and then accuracy. If I don't want to see a flip, it's a great month on food because we didn't counted it correctly, and then following month is bad because it's a flip from there. So those are the things.
What's the difference between a good manager and a great manager in your mind?
A good manager is just gonna manage the business the way it is. It's not gonna probably improve much. A great manager takes it where it is and lifts it up and keeps growing. And the leader is the one, I would say, after that, that I would like to see more is the leaders who runs a restaurant leading but not putting everything on hand and lifting the team, giving them enough resources that they can make decisions by themselves.
What part of the job took you the longest to get comfortable with in your years of experience?
I think managing different personalities, different restaurants, it was challenging. And sometimes getting the emotions out of the failures or pushbacks and get to the goal, that was the most challenging for me. because every different person, how to manage them to get it there. That was the first. From a GM to a DM is a very different goal, different mindset you have to have. It's sometimes you just have to learn. There are standards, there are other ways you have to work with them. When you are in a unit, it's very easy to fix, make changes, keep it consistent, because you are only dealing with almost, because every team member kind of looks like our manager's personality. So it's very simple to fix. That was a challenging thing for me. Once I've learned how to navigate these pieces, I got comfortable in this role.
How long did that take you to sort of figure out?
I would say at least a year.
Yeah. In this most recent role with Legacy?
Legacy, at least a year. Every year I was growing. Every year it was improving. But I think after third year, I was very comfortable.
We discussed I did spend some time in the Twin Cities before because I worked for a financial institution that's headquartered there. I know Caribou was sort of the 800-pound gorilla. This is 10 plus years ago. Do they still
That's
hold a
right.
lot of market share as it relates to coffee?
Yes, they do, because it's a home of Caribou. So
Yeah.
there are people who loves Caribou. They do carry a lot of shares. I don't have exact numbers for the Twin Cities, but I think we are, based on the revenue of last year as a Dunkin' brands all over the US, I think we came above Starbucks last year. And Caribou is only this side of the market. We don't have Caribou. So Dunkin' as a franchise or Dunkin' as a group, Inspire Brands don't talk about Caribou's much. They talk about McDonald's and Starbucks in comparison to Dunkin'.
Dunkin' does a great job with marketing. That's one that I'm constantly seeing.
They have got, uh,
Everywhere.
they have done amazing job last 2-3 years. Yes,
100%.
and it is helping every franchisee. I'm pretty sure all over the country to bring revenue, bring new people to try out new drinks and all those. Yes.
I'm a West Coast kid, right? So I'm from West Coast. Not a lot of Dunkins on the West Coast. I moved to the East Coast 5 years ago, and I was a little bit like, "What is this Dunkin'? Like, I'm not like I'm a." You ever heard of Pete's Coffee? You've seen Pete's Coffee before?
I've seen it
Very
somewhere. I
West
don't
Coast,
remember.
very West
Hmm.
Coast, right? And that's what I knew West, some Starbucks, but very Pete's Coffee. And then I got to the Northeast, and I'm like, "What is this Dunkin'?" I see this Dunkin' everywhere, and then I felt like I was cheating on, Pete's, but there was no Pete's. And so then I started going to Dunkin'. I'm like, I actually like Dunkin'. Like now I have a Dunkin' right down at the end of my road, which is like 10 minutes from me. And I often stop there and I actually like Dunkin'. I think it's a very good brand, very good quality products for sure.
Yes, they are, and I think they're trying to move towards the west. So central, we call us central Midwest. And then they are moving forward. So they will be soon in West Coast a lot too.
And so fast forward, I was on the West Coast late last year to see my kids, and we were looking for Dunkin' and we couldn't find it. So we had made that conversion in 5 years to adopting the Dunkin' brand. Monica, do you guys have them in Texas?
We do. I have one
It
right down
should
the
be all.
street.
It should be all over Texas.
Yeah, right
Texas
down the
is a big
street.
market.
Well, the one right down the street is a drive-through one next to a gas station.
Okay.
But even past that, there's one 10 minutes away. So we have them everywhere here in San Antonio. Yeah.
As much as you're comfortable sharing, because my understanding is like Legacy is the holding company that has a group of investors that are investing in these Dunkin' franchises that you guys are opening. As much as you're comfortable sharing, do you guys have dreams or aspirations to buy into other brands?
Yes, that's why the initial thought was couple concept. That's why it's called Legacy Concepts. But as of now, I think the investors would like to finish how many they want with the Dunkin' and then start looking into something else. So as of now, main focus is Dunkin'. Once we finish what we have signed, probably we might do more. Once they get to a sweet spot number, they might look into something else, or this could be the only one we keep expanding.
Get the 12 open, and is there is there plans to maybe buy more Dunkin' units in the Twin Cities, corner the market, Sarwar?
Kind of, hopefully. But let's, because I think Dunkin' only allows you to sign 10 at a time. So
Oh,
once we finish this, then we'll see. And I'm pretty sure we will be expanding. And hopefully the other franchisees, if they ever let us get to their section, sure, we will take a look and see how if it's profitable to add those into our franchise.
If someone were to step into your role tomorrow, what would they underestimate about your job?
I think they will think it's a very easy. It's just traveling to the stores, go talk to them, and that's all it goes on to my role. And that I can go and manage everybody. It's easy. So it is all figuring out how to get to that, make them work, show your credibility to earn respect. And that's where I would say it will be hard.
I think it's the piece you talked about earlier is that you've done everyone's job, right?
Yes.
So doing everyone's job and being the top leader for all of those units, I think carries a lot of weight, a lot of respect.
And I know a lot of ways to make things easier. So when they want to know, okay, how do we get there? I can show them multiple ways to get there because I have used in different ways to get there too. So based on their personality, how they learn, how they react quickly. So those are the things it's easier. And because I've done all those, when I say about any of those positions or any of those circumstances, I've lived through it myself.
So Sarwar, if you're at one of your locations and let's say one of your team members has to go and use the bathroom and a special coffee has to be made, you know how to make the coffee?
I do.
Awesome. Well, I think I told you that I belong to a men's grooming brand, and if one of my barbers had to use the bathroom, Sarwar, I would not know how to cut hair. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But yes, I have to learn. And it's also my job to make sure I learn so I can teach other people. So, yes. And I have a liberty and opportunity to work in every restaurant. So when I go, I can do those things, help them out, show them that it is possible. I can do that too. It's not like if I don't know how to make a thing, how would I teach somebody else how to do it? But that is a different concept of the barber and those things.
On average, how many new products does Dunkin' add per year?
I won't be able to tell you, but like there are 6 launches happens a year. So about 4 or 5 new product comes in. So we have fall, spring, summer 1, summer 2, and there is another. So 5 or 6 launches in a year. Sometimes there are 8, 10 products they launch, sometimes 5 or 6. So quite a bit.
See, for me, Monica knows this, I've been working out very hard since December, and the Munchkins are the ones that always call my name when I go into a Dunkin'. They always call my name, at least 1 or 2 of them. Sarwar, can you tell our audience how they can get a hold of you, any of your websites, contact information, anything you'd like to share?
Sure. Our company website is Legacy Concepts CO. So there's a website that has all the store addresses, all the locations. My email address is sarwar at legacyconceptsllc.com. Feel free to email. And every information they need about our franchisees is on that website also.
Awesome. All right. One last question, Sarwar. Your favorite drink and your favorite food item could be a donut, could be one of your wraps or your sandwiches. Your favorite drink and your favorite food item.
Favorite food, I would say turkey sausage sandwich on a croissant, and the drink is a berry refresher with a cold foam on top.
Okay.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Okay.
The funny thing is, I used to make this copying Starbucks because they had a drink. So I started making this by myself, and then Dunkin' launched it. And one of my manager was in a meeting and said, "It's Sarwar's drink." I said, "Yes."
That's what it,
But it
should
was,
be it.
yes.
Sarwar, maybe some royalties for the drink nationwide.
There you go.
I wish, but yes.
Awesome. You've been
All
a
right.
wonderful
Thank you
guest.
so much.